Lena stepped quietly into the penthouse with her cleaning cart, just like she did every morning. She always tried to move slowly and silently, because the owner of the place was an alien millionaire known for his strict rules. His name was Valen, and even though Lena had never spoken more than 2 words to him, she had heard stories. People said he disliked noise, disliked humans, and disliked mistakes. Lena believed all of that, so she always worked with extra care. The penthouse was huge, with high ceilings and glowing walls that changed color based on time of day. Lena stuck to her usual routine, dusting the shelves, checking the recycling bin, folding the thin silver blankets on the couch. She never looked at anything too long. She never touched anything she was not supposed to. She wanted to keep her job, no matter what. But that morning felt strange. The air was a little too quiet. Xerath was usually in his office or in the private garden on the balcony, busy talking to important people. Today she heard nothing. No voices, no footsteps, no devices humming. It made her pause for a moment. Still, she reminded herself that the less she wondered, the safer her day would be. So she kept working. She went to clean the floor of the main living room when she heard it, a soft, buzzing sound. It wasn't loud, but it wasn't normal either. It sounded like something electrical, something broken. Lena straightened up and listened. The noise came again, a bit louder this time, and it was coming from the hallway leading to the office. She hesitated. That hallway was not part of her list for the day. She wasn't supposed to go near the office unless the door was open and the permission light was green. Today, the door was closed and the permission light was off. But the strange sound kept coming, like something struggling. Against her better judgment, Lena walked closer. She placed her ear near the door and heard a soft, weak gasp from inside. Her heart jumped. Someone was in trouble. She pressed the emergency call button on the wall. It blinked red and then shut off. The system was down. That never happened. Lena bit her lip and looked around. No guards. No staff. No one. She placed her hand on the office door handle. She knew this could get her fired. She knew she could lose everything. But the gas came again fainter. She pushed the door open. Valen was on the floor, collapsed beside his desk. His skin, usually a glowing silver blue, had turned pale and dim. His chest rose and fell in small, shallow breaths. His eyes were open but unfocused, like he was trying to see but couldn't. Lena froze. Her whole body trembled. She wasn't trained for this. She wasn't even allowed to enter this room. But Xerath's hand twitched weakly, like he was reaching for help. "Sir," she whispered. He didn't answer. She rushed to the control panel on the wall and hit the emergency call command. It blinked, flickered, and then died. Something was wrong with the whole system. Maybe a power fault. Maybe something worse. She looked at the millionaire again. His breathing had become even weaker. She knew that if she did nothing, he would die right there on the cold floor. No guards were coming. No medics. No alarms. Her hands shook, but she grabbed her small communicator from her pocket and dialed the emergency sky ambulance number. It was a service only used outside the building, but she had no other choice. Emergency lines responding, a voice said, "State the situation." "This is Lena Moreno," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "There's a medical emergency in penthouse 88, Tower Lux. The resident is unconscious and not breathing well. System inside is down. Sending a unit." The voice replied, "Stay with the patient." Lena knelt beside Xerath. She had no idea how to help, but she placed her hand gently on his arm. His skin felt cold. "Too cold." She whispered, "Help is coming, just hold on." She stayed like that for several minutes that felt like hours. She kept talking softly, hoping he could hear something, anything. Finally, she heard the sound of a sky ambulance docking outside the balcony. Metal steps clicked. Doors opened. 2 medics rushed in. They scanned Xerath and lifted him onto a hover stretcher. One medic looked at Lena with surprise. "You called this in?" he asked. "Yes," she said quietly. "If you didn't, he would have been gone in minutes." Her breath caught. She looked down at her hands, still trembling. She had only done what felt right, but she knew she had broken rules. Serious rules. The medics flew off with him, and the penthouse became quiet again. Too quiet. Lena stood alone in the giant room, unsure if she had saved her job or destroyed her future. Either way, she knew one thing for certain. Nothing in her life would be the same after today. Lena expected life to return to normal after the incident. She thought she would just finish her work in the penthouse, keep her head down, and avoid trouble. But nothing went back to normal. The day after she rushed Varric to the hospital, the building security called her in for questioning. The moment Lena stepped into the security office, she felt her stomach tighten. Several alien guards stood inside. Their tall frames, glowing eyes, and armored uniforms made her feel even smaller than before. They were not angry, but their serious faces made her nervous. One of them gestured for her to sit down. "We have questions about yesterday," the guard said. "Please answer honestly." Lena nodded, folding her hands tightly in her lap. She explained everything. How she had found Varric collapsed on the floor, how she had shouted for help, and how she had taken him to the hospital in the service transport. Her words were simple, shaky at times, but true. The guards listened carefully and wrote notes. Their calm expressions did not change, but Lena could feel the pressure growing. She wondered if she had done something wrong. She wondered if she would lose her job. "Why were you the one in the penthouse at that time?" another guard asked. I was assigned to clean the upper floor," she said quietly. No one else was available. "And you say you touched him?" the guard continued. Lena froze. I had to." He couldn't move. The guards exchanged looks. For a moment, no one spoke. The silence made Lena feel cold. Finally, the first guard nodded. "We are not accusing you," he said. "But the millionaire Varric is an important figure. His sudden collapse requires an investigation." Lena let out a quiet breath of relief, even though the fear still sat heavy in her chest. After a few more questions, the guards released her, but the investigation did not stop there. That whole week, strange things happened around her. Aliens in formal suits came to the building. They walked around with data tablets and scanned the penthouse. They interviewed every worker, even those who had not been near Varric in months. Lena was interviewed 3 more times. Each time, she said the same thing. Each time, they checked her story carefully. Each time, she returned to her tiny room, feeling exhausted. Her co-workers whispered behind her back. Some of them kept their distance, unsure if she was in trouble or just unlucky. A few quietly supported her, but most were simply scared to get involved. She was the last one with him. One worker muttered in the hallway. "What if she did something?" another whispered. Lena heard these things but pretended not to. She kept working, kept cleaning, kept hoping everything would end soon. Meanwhile, Varric remained in the hospital. No one was allowed to visit him except his personal doctors. Rumors spread through the station. Some said he had been poisoned. Others said he had a genetic weakness. Others claimed he had enemies from other planets. Lena didn't believe any of the rumors, but she worried. She worried about losing her job. She worried about being blamed for something she never did. And she worried about Varric, even though he was a millionaire far above her world. One afternoon, as she was cleaning the penthouse again, she noticed something unusual. An alien investigator stood near the window, scanning the spot where Varric had collapsed. He turned when he sensed her. "You're Lena," he said. Her name sounded strange in his deep voice. "Yes, sir," she replied softly. He watched her for a moment. His eyes were sharp but not unkind. "You helped him." "That was brave," he said quietly. Lena blinked in surprise. No one had said that to her since the incident. She didn't know what to say, so she simply nodded. "Do you know he is stable now?" the investigator added. "He woke up early this morning." Her eyes widened. "He's alive? He's okay?" "He is recovering," the alien said, "and he remembers what happened." Lena felt something warm rise in her chest. Relief, simple and pure. He asked about the maid who saved him. Lena's breath caught. She never expected Varric would even remember her face, let alone ask about her. She had always been invisible in this large building, just a human worker doing simple jobs. But now, everything felt different. Before she could ask anything, the investigator's tablet beeped. He turned away to check it, then looked back at her. The investigation is almost complete. We will finish soon. Am I? Lena swallowed. Am I in trouble? The investigator shook his head. No, you will see soon. Those words filled her with both hope and confusion. That night, Lena could not sleep. Her mind kept repeating the same thoughts. Varric had woken up. He had asked about her, and the investigation was ending. She didn't know what any of it meant, but she knew her life was about to change, and she had no idea how big that change would be. The message arrived early in the morning, just before Lena started her cleaning shift. She was tying her apron when the small screen on her wall beeped with a new notification. She almost ignored it, thinking it was just another schedule update. But then she saw the sender's name. Varric. Her hands froze. For a moment, she wondered if it was a mistake. Maybe it was someone else with the same name. But the official seal from the Millionaire's Corporation flashed on the screen, leaving no doubt. Report to the hospital. The message said, Varric, request your presence. Lena stared at the words for a long time. Her heart beat fast, and her mind filled with questions. Why did he want to see her? Was this good or bad? Was this part of the investigation? Was she in trouble again? She left her room quickly and took the transport to the hospital. The building was huge, bright, and filled with machines she did not understand. Alien doctors move around in clean uniforms. Human workers were rare here, and some gave her curious looks as she passed. A tall alien nurse approached her. You are Lena? He asked. Yes, she said softly. Follow me. He is waiting. They walked through long hallways until they reached a private recovery room. The lights inside were dim and warm. Varric lay on a medical bed, connected to monitors that beeped softly. His blue skin looked pale, but his eyes were open and alert. When he saw Lena, he smiled faintly. You came, he said. Lena's anxiety tightened again. The message said you wanted to see me. Yes, he said. Please, sit. She sat in the chair beside his bed, her hands folded tightly. She waited for him to speak. I remember everything. Varric said quietly. I remember collapsing. I remember being unable to move. And I remember a human maid trying her best to save me. Lena looked down at her hands, her cheeks warm. I just did what anyone would do. That is not true, he said. Many would have been too frightened. Many would have waited for someone else. But you acted. You moved me. You carried me. You saved my life. Lena swallowed. Hearing those words from someone so powerful felt unreal. The investigators told me everything you went through. Varric continued. The questions, the suspicion, the rumors. I am sorry for the stress my collapse caused you. It's okay, she whispered. It is not, he said firmly. You deserve better. Lena wasn't sure how to respond. She stared at the floor, unsure if she was supposed to speak or stay silent. Then Varric leaned back on his pillows and breathed slowly. I want to ask you something important. Lena's heart beat faster again. I want to offer you a new position, he said, working directly for me. She blinked in shock. For you? Yes, Varric said, as my personal assistant. Lena could barely breathe. Me? But why me? I am only a maid. You are someone who acts when it matters, he said. Someone who does not hesitate to help others. I need that kind of person near me. I trust you. The word trust felt heavy. For a moment, Lena wondered if she had misheard him. But I have no training, she whispered. I don't know anything about business or rich alien life. I will teach you, Varric said. Everything you need to know. You'll have your own room, better pay, better food, and more opportunities. You will never be treated as invisible again. The offer was so big, so unexpected, that Lena felt dizzy. She had never imagined a different life. She had always accepted small jobs, tiny rooms, and long hours. She had learned to live quietly, unnoticed, and now this millionaire was offering her a future she did not believe she deserved. There is no pressure, Varric said gently. If you refuse, you can keep your job in the building. You will lose nothing. But if you accept, your life will change forever. Lena took a long, shaky breath. She didn't know what to say. She didn't know if she was ready for such a big step. But she knew one thing. Someone finally saw her. Someone believed she was more than a simple maid. Why? Why are you doing this for me? She asked softly. Varric looked at her with calm, steady eyes. Because kindness is rare, he said. And when someone saves your life, you do not forget them. A quiet silence filled the room. Lena's hands trembled, but not from fear this time. From hope. A small, bright hope she had not felt in years. I need time to think, she whispered. Of course, Varric said with a nod. Take as long as you need. She stood slowly. Her legs felt weak. Before leaving the room, she looked back at him. He watched her with a gentle expression, waiting, not rushing her. For the first time in her life, Lena felt like she had a choice about her future. And she did not know where that choice would lead her, only that her life was already changing. The morning Lena returned to the penthouse for her answer, she felt as if her feet hardly touched the ground. She had spent days thinking, worrying, imagining, doubting. Every hour her mind changed. One moment she felt brave enough to say yes. The next moment she felt too small, too unimportant, too unprepared for a life beside someone like Varric. But she knew she could not delay forever. The elevator rose higher and higher, carrying her to the top floors where rich guests lived. She stood inside, staring at her reflection in the polished metal walls. She still looked like the same simple girl. Same clothes, same tired eyes. But something inside her was different. She felt it. When the doors opened, one of Varric's assistants was already waiting. He is expecting you, the assistant said politely. Lena followed him through a quiet hallway. The penthouse looked the same as before, bright, clean, filled with elegant alien decorations she could never describe. But today, she was not here to clean. She was here to choose her future. Varric stood near the large glass wall that looked over the city. The morning sun made his blue skin glow softly. When he turned and saw Lena, he gave her a calm, welcoming smile. You came back, he said. Yes, she whispered. He motioned for her to sit. When she did, he took a seat across from her. There was no pressure in his eyes, only patience. Have you made your decision? He asked. Lena took a deep breath. Her hand shook slightly, but she kept them in her lap. Yes, she said. I want to accept. I want to work for you. Varric nodded, not with surprise, but with warm approval. Good. I am glad. Those words felt like a door opening inside her. Everything changed quickly after that. Within an hour, another assistant arrived with documents. Not cold or complicated ones. Simple agreements written in basic human language, so she could understand every word. They explained her new job duties, her new salary, her new living arrangements. Her old maid contract was canceled. Her new one made her Varric's personal assistant with full rights, full protection, and full respect. Lena's hands shook as she signed her name. It felt unreal. She expected her first day to be overwhelming. Instead, Varric started gently. He showed her the areas she would work in, explaining everything slowly. He introduced her to his staff as someone important, not as a servant. Every alien bowed politely to her, something she had never experienced before. Her new room was nothing like the tiny box she used to sleep in. It was bright, soft, and warm. The bed was big. The walls were decorated with calm colors. There was even a window that looked out at the shining city streets far below. Lena touched everything carefully, afraid it wasn't real. Later, Varric showed her his personal office. It was large and filled with screens that displayed numbers, maps, and alien languages. Lena did not understand any of it, but she listened quietly. You will learn, Varric said, slowly, step by step. I do not expect you to know everything. Those words helped ease her fear. In the afternoon, Varric invited her to join a meeting. It was the first time Lena sat at a table with powerful aliens. They wore expensive clothes and spoke with confident voices. Some looked confused when they saw her, but Varric introduced her without hesitation. This is Lena, he said, my personal assistant. She speaks for me when I am not present. Lena felt every head turn toward her. She tried to sit tall. Her heart beat fast, but she stayed calm. Throughout the meeting, she paid attention to everything. She took notes, even if she didn't understand all the details. When Varric asked her opinion on something small, she gave a careful answer. He listened seriously. That alone shocked her. When the meeting ended, 2 alien business partners approached her. They bowed politely, a gesture of respect in their culture. Lena almost forgot to breathe. The rest of the day was filled with lessons. Varric taught her how to read simple financial reports. He taught her how to send official messages. He taught her which gestures were polite when talking to different alien species. Each time she made a mistake, he corrected her gently. "You are doing well," he told her often. "Better than you think." By evening, Lena felt tired but proud. She had stepped into a world she never imagined, and she had survived her first day. As she walked through the penthouse, she stopped near the tall windows. The city below sparkled like thousands of stars fallen to the ground. She had cleaned this place many times, but she had never looked at the view like this, like she belonged here. Varric joined her quietly. "Are you overwhelmed?" he asked. "A little," she admitted with a small smile. "But in a good way. You will grow into this life," he said gently. "You already have the heart for it." Lena looked at him, studying the calm expression on his face. She realized again that he was not offering charity. He truly believed she had value. He truly believed she could rise. For someone who had spent years living unseen, that belief was powerful. She turned her eyes back to the shining city below. For the first time, she felt as if the world was not closed to her, as if she could walk forward and choose her own path. And she knew her journey with Varric had only just begun. Lena woke up in her new room with soft sunlight touching her face. For a moment, she did not remember where she was. Then she looked around, the gentle colors on the walls, the clean white sheets, the quiet air, and she remembered everything. Her life had changed. She was no longer a poor maid struggling to survive. She was Varric's trusted assistant, living in a world she never believed she would even see. She sat up slowly, letting the feeling sink in. It still felt unreal. Her first task of the day was meeting Varric in his office. He was already there, reading reports and checking messages. When she entered, he looked up and smiled. "Good morning, Lena." She still felt shy hearing someone like him greet her so kindly. "Good morning," she said softly. Today, Varric had something important to show her. He led her into a long hallway she had never been inside before. At the end of it was a door that opened with a soft, glowing light. Inside was a small training room filled with advanced technology. Screens, tablets, soft chairs, and strange alien devices lined the walls. "This is for you," Varric said. "For me?" Lena whispered. "Yes, you will use this room to study and grow. You will learn languages, business skills, and cultural knowledge. I want you prepared for the future." Lena touched one of the screens carefully. It lit up under her fingers, showing simple lessons written in a language she could understand. She almost felt like crying. "No one has ever made something for me," she said quietly. Varric stood beside her, his voice gentle. "You earned it. You saved my life. But more than that, you have the heart of someone who deserves a chance." Lena spent hours in that room, learning things she never thought she would. She studied alien numbers, practiced polite greetings, and learned the history of Varric's people. Every time she understood something new, she smiled to herself. She felt her mind growing, stretching, opening. Days passed quickly. Her routine changed. Instead of scrubbing floors, she reviewed schedules. Instead of washing windows, she joined meetings. Instead of being ignored, she was respected. Some aliens still looked confused when they saw a human girl beside Varric. But no one dared to question him, and slowly, they began to accept her. One afternoon, Varric invited her to an important business dinner. Leaders from different companies were coming. Lena felt nervous, but she dressed carefully and followed Varric with calm steps. The dinner hall was huge and bright. Guests wore rich clothes and spoke with elegant voices. When Varric introduced Lena, some guests nodded politely, while others were surprised. But when she spoke, soft and clear, they listened. She remembered every lesson from her training room. She used every polite gesture she had learned. By the end of the dinner, several guests complimented her. "You have a smart assistant," one alien leader told Varric. Lena felt her face warm with pride. Life changed outside the penthouse, too. Word spread across the city about the human maid who had saved a millionaire. Some people whispered her name with admiration, others with curiosity. But no one saw her as just a maid anymore. Her old co-workers looked at her differently when she visited the staff area. Some were amazed. Some were happy for her. Some were jealous. But Lena stayed humble. She spoke kindly to everyone, reminding them she was still the same person. Weeks passed, and Varric's trust in her grew stronger. He invited her to bigger events and more serious discussions. He explained his plans for new buildings, new programs, and new alliances. Sometimes he asked what she thought, and every time she gave an honest answer. One evening, as they stood on the penthouse balcony watching the city lights, Varric spoke quietly. "You changed my life, Lena," he said. She blinked in surprise. "Me? You changed mine." He shook his head gently. "Before you came, I lived in a world full of pressure and noise. I trusted no one. I felt alone, even in a crowd. But then you showed me something simple. Kindness, honesty, bravery. You reminded me what truly matters." Lena felt her heart warm. She looked at him, seeing past the riches and the power. She saw a person who had almost died because no one was close enough to care. She saw someone who needed not a servant, but a friend. "And you showed me a world I never thought I would see," she said softly. Silence fell between them, peaceful and warm. In the months that followed, Lena's life continued to rise. She traveled with Varric to different cities. She met leaders, diplomats, and scientists. She learned languages she never knew existed. She stood in rooms she once saw only in magazines. But she never forgot who she was or where she came from. She donated money to help other workers. She visited old friends. She sent supplies to shelters. She used her new life to lift others, just as Varric had lifted her. One day, she looked out from the penthouse balcony again. The world no longer felt far away. It felt reachable. She was no longer the poor girl scrubbing floors. She was someone with purpose, someone strong, someone respected. And she knew her life had changed forever. Not because of luck, but because she had chosen to act with courage in a moment that mattered. Her story had begun with a collapse in the penthouse, but it ended with a future brighter than anything she had imagined.